Hello, thank you for watching this short video about the key takeaways from this year's Giving USA annual report on philanthropy for the year 2022. My name is Jaron Bernstein. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm a consultant here at Alpha Group.
Hello, it's great to be with you today. My name is Michelle Bibbs. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a senior consultant here at Alpha Group. Today, we will give an overview of Giving USA and how the report is compiled with key takeaways from this year's snapshot. Giving USA reflects U.S. philanthropic giving in 2022 and provides an overview of the sources of giving and recipients by sectors.
Giving USA is the oldest and most comprehensive report on charitable giving in the United States. It's published by the Giving USA Foundation, which is part of the Giving Institute, an association comprised of consultancies such as Alpha Group. Ours has been a member of the Institute for over 30 years, and in that time, a significant donor to the research that is reflected in this report. It is a lot of research. It represents data from 128 million households, almost 1.5 million nonprofits, 90,000 foundations, and businesses of all sizes.
Here are the key takeaways. We saw record generosity in 2020 and 2021, and following those years, giving overall was down in 2022. Foundation giving made up a larger percentage of overall giving. And lastly, proven principles for fundraising endure. Focused strategies to cultivate and build donor relationships remain essential.
So let's talk about those key takeaways in a little bit more detail. The first being that overall giving is down, but that's not the whole picture. After soaring past $500 billion to $516.65 billion in 2021, total charitable giving in 2022 was $499.33 billion. This is a 3.4% decline in current dollars. But in inflation adjusted terms, total giving declined by 10.5% in 2022. The Giving USA data is available in both today's dollars and inflation adjusted dollars. We will be showing inflation adjusted data so you have a more accurate year-to-year depiction based on the value of the dollar. So total giving decreased in 2022, which you will see as a relatively rare occurrence, usually seen during years with difficult or uncertain economic conditions. On this chart, we can see the trend in total giving since 1982. In that time period, adjusted for inflation, total charitable giving has declined 9 different times. Note that this most recent decline in 2022 comes on the heels of the most generous year ever on record. As I mentioned, 2021 giving surpassed $500 billion for the first time as people responded to the needs related to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. It's important to remember when looking at this data that 1 year of data is not enough to be considered a trend. In fact, if you look further back, giving is trending upward. Since 1982, total giving in inflation adjusted dollars has grown at an average rate of 2.6% annually. And over the most recent decade, from 2013 to 2022, total inflation adjusted giving grew by 20.2%. There are also overall economic factors that influence how much donors give. And in 2022, there were several that were in play. The first is disposable personal income, or how much spendable income a household has. And this is a key determinant of how much households then give. This was down 0.1% in 2022, which in inflation adjusted dollars represents a 7.5% decline. Also, total giving has historically correlated with the growth or decline of the S&P 500 or the stock market in general. The S&P 500 declined by 25.4% in 2022 when adjusted for inflation. Similarly, giving as a percentage of GDP was 1.9% in 2022, which is down from its 40-year high of 2.3% in 2020. And finally, as we all likely know, inflation reached a 40-year high of 8% in 2022. All these economic factors combined to influence a decline in total overall giving in 2022.
The second takeaway is giving by foundations grew as a share of total giving. This demonstrates the increasing prominence of foundation-directed giving. Giving by foundations, which includes grants and gifts made by independent, community, and operating foundations, amounted to 21% of all gifts made in 2022. This is an increase of 2.5% from 19% in 2021. Giving by bequest accounted for 9% of all gifts made in 2022. Direct giving by individuals comprised 64% of total giving in 2022, which represents a decline of 13.4% when we adjust for inflation. This decline in individual giving is the fourth year in a row. Lastly, giving by corporations comprised 6% of total giving in 2022 and performed more strongly amid the unusual economic conditions. Collectively, when direct individual giving is combined with bequests and approximately half of giving from foundations in the form of gifts from family foundations, individual giving is 83.5% of generosity in the US. When we look at where American generosity was directed, religion continues to receive the largest share of all giving at 27%, but is decreasing. Human services received 14%, eclipsing education for the first time in 2020 at 13% and rounding out the top three. When we look at changes in giving across sectors, when we adjust for the record inflation in 2022, giving decline, as shown by the dark green bars, for all but 2 of the 9 major recipient subsectors. The sectors which received increased giving are foundations, primarily family foundations, and international affairs. Adding to foundations and international affairs, giving to education, health, arts, culture, and humanities over the past 2 years remains above their 2020 levels.
So what does this all mean for us as fundraisers? Our third key takeaway is that despite this overall decline in total giving, strategies to cultivate, build, and retain donor relationships remain essential. In their book, The Generosity Crisis, Brian Crimmins, Nathan Chappell, and Michael Ashley introduced the idea of radical connection as an antidote to what they see as a decline in generosity in the United States. Building radical connections means moving your donor relationship from ones of association or affiliation with your organization to ones of radical connection, in which your donors and stakeholders love your organization, will go out of their way to share their mission, your mission with the world, and support your organization. They consider your organization and supporting it to be part of their identity and would sacrifice something else in their lives in order to see your organization succeed. Crucially, these kinds of connections are built on the feeling that not only does the donor know the organization, you as the organization truly understand them as individuals. Building these kinds of radical connections as we navigate an overall downturn in total giving is essential.
We have seen our clients grow as they build upon the resilience and innovation developed during the pandemic. Organizations can continue to evolve by expanding your digital presence, as research shows that mobile devices are now responsible for the majority of all visits to nonprofit websites. Elevate your organization's impact on mobile-friendly platforms and be sure online giving is easy to navigate. Double down on building relationships with existing donors. Invite them to help widen the circle of supporters who share in their commitment to the work and mission of your organization. A survey of what Americans think about philanthropy found that individuals view nonprofits more positively than government or for-profit entities. With inflation trending down from the historic high in 2022, there is potential for giving to trend up, making engagement with current and potential donors more important than ever.
So to recap, here are our key takeaways from this year's Giving USA annual report on philanthropy. After 2 years of record generosity during the pandemic, giving overall was down in 2022. Of that total giving, foundation giving now makes up a larger percentage than ever before. And finally, now more than ever, focused strategies to cultivate and build radical connection with your donors are essential.
To learn more about Giving USA, scan the QR code or visit our website at alfred.com. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for watching.